Good evening. Am I audible?
Good evening, sir. Audible, sir.
Okay. So yesterday we were doing women and associated issues. We discussed about the difference between sex and gender. Then we also discussed some of the arguments in support of gender discrimination. Now let us do the arguments to support gender equality, then the spheres of discrimination, government schemes and policies, the role of women and women organizations, success stories. Okay. Any doubt in yesterday's class?
No, sir.
Okay. So arguments in support of gender equality. Now, tell me some of the arguments. Yes. So there are political arguments. If more and more number of women join politics, although we will do this separately as a topic in today's class only, but tell me, if more and more women join politics, or they are in various levels of decision making in the government, what will be the benefit? Yes.
सर वुमेन का रिप्रेजेंटेशन बढ़ेगा तो उनके इश्यूज भी ज्यादा
Okay. One thing is that issues related to women will become central to the public policy. Okay. Women's safety, women empowerment, women upliftment, that would become central to the public policy. Number one. What else? Madhvi?
So they would not remain just beneficiary of the schemes, but actually the participant in the policies.
In that point, we'll maybe raise in, let us say, economic arguments, that women will not be mere beneficiaries of development, they will be agents of development. India has moved from women as beneficiaries of development to women-led development. That is fine, but more of an economic point. Political arguments mein, if more women come into politics, what will happen?
The more inclusive policy making.
Okay, there will be more inclusive politics. गांधी जी का ये कहना है कि women are the instruments of social change. And if non-violence is the way of the world, our future lies with women. So just imagine if instead of Trump, there is Kamala Harris. Would the world be going through what it is going right now? Yes. Yes or no?
No, sir.
No. Plus, if women are brought into politics, feminist philosophers कहती हैं कि personal is political. पर्सनल इज पॉलिटिकल का मतलब कि जो घर की बात है उसको घर तक ही सीमित रख दिया जाता है. Women face all kinds of atrocities at home, whether it be gender discrimination, whether it be domestic violence, whether it be honor killing, whether it be gender mutilation, whether it be female fiticide, whether it be marital rape, whether it be sexual harassment. All this is happening in the confines of home, in which state does not enter. So it would lead to mainstreaming of crime against women. और ये जो सिस्टमिक एक्सक्लूजन है वो खत्म हो जाएगा. सो एक लाइन इसमें लिख लीजिए अंडर दिस पॉइंट, द सेपरेशन ऑफ पब्लिक एंड प्राइवेट, the separation of public and private leads to exclusion of gender crimes. For example, marital rape, domestic violence.
The separation of public and private leads to
exclusion of gender crimes. For example, marital rape, domestic violence, female feticide, gender mutilation. You know that still in some communities it is part of practice for mutilating the gender, Daudi Bohra communities, etc. So gender mutilation, it is considered a part of personal religious affairs or personal affairs of that community, again excluding crimes based on gender. So definitely political arguments are there. Then come to these economic arguments. Yes, what are the economic arguments for supporting women or gender empowerment?
Workforce will increase.
What will increase?
Workforce.
Workforce will increase. Okay. Labor force participation rate will increase. Okay. Anybody else?
the 27.7% increase
Correct.
in the
लिख लीजिए. So IMF research says that if 277 million women join the workforce, India's GDP will rise by 27%. According to United Nations report on land and property rights, women constitute half of the world's population. Perform 66% or 2/3 of the work hours. 50% population, 2/3 of the work hours get 1/10 of the income and own 1/100th of the property. So granting them land and property rights would propel demand, would propel entrepreneurship, because अभी women के पास अगर property नहीं है, can she easily take a bank loan?
No, sir.
No. If women don't, generally women hold property in the name of their male counterparts, whether it be their father, whether it be their husband, and they lose land and property rights when they get married, when they get divorced or widowed. So the general phenomena is that women are not independently holding land and यहाँ यहीं पर एक नोट बना के कहीं लिख लीजिए, वैसे हम आगे spheres of discrimination में लिखेंगे, but since I remembered it right now, so write it. एक नोट बना के लिख लीजिए, women hold property in relation to their male counterparts, डैश डाल के फादर कॉमा हस्बैंड, and lose its benefits in case of marriage, migration, divorce and widowhood. एक और इकोनॉमिक आर्ग्यूमेंट लिख लीजिए, फेमिनाइजेशन ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर. ऑल्दो इसको हम कंसर्न में भी लिखेंगे, बट most of the workforce in agriculture today is women, and if we want to double farmers income, we have to think from the perspective of improving the condition of women. So लिख लीजिए एक लाइन, there has been a rise in workforce engaged in agriculture. According to the PLFS, Periodic Labor Force Survey Report 2022, to 45.8%. Much of this is driven by increased labor force participation rate, increased labor force participation rate of rural women. This phenomena of increased participation of women in agriculture is known as feminization of agriculture. With the government aim of doubling farmers' income. It would require specific focus on women in agriculture. अच्छा, यहीं पॉज करके आपसे पूछूं कि why there is feminization of agriculture? What are the causes? Can you tell me some of... हाँ बोलिए.
सर इसमें आर्ग्यूमेंट फॉर मतलब क्या, इसमें क्या होगा एक मेजर आर्ग्यूमेंट कि फेमिनाइन?
See, we want to bring equality in the economic sphere, है ना? Now, one aspect is by the you give them reservation, you give them permanent stationing in military. Those arguments seem fine, but we also have to see the practicality that more number of women are found in the workforce in agriculture, right? They are also providing 2/3 of the total labor done. They are also having only 1/10 of the property rights. So there is one sector of yours which you want to grow, which is agriculture. You know, agriculture is stagnant, its contribution to GDP is stagnant. You want to double the farmers' income, you want agriculture to become an enterprise, you want agriculture to contribute to India's GDP. But can it happen without like by ignoring this one crucial stakeholder in Indian agriculture?
Right, sir.
So I am making this case that you want to improve agriculture. These are your stakeholders. Improve them, agriculture will improve. So by that logic, I am giving this point. Understood?
Right, sir.
Okay. So yes, Madhvi, what are the causes for feminization of agriculture? Why more and more number of women in agriculture is rising?
So because of male migration from rural
Okay.
areas,
One is social mobility and migration. Correct. Generally, who are considered as breadwinners in a family?
male member.
Yes, male members are considered breadwinners. And they migrate to cities. ठीक है, एक point हो गया. Now there is an entire topic on migration. We will be discussing about push and pull factors of migration in a separate topic, where we will be dealing with population and associated issues. But for now, male members, they are migrating. They are the breadwinners. Yes. What else?
सर एग्रेरियन डिस्ट्रेस है हाउस होल्ड में होता है तो मोर पीपल लाइक कम इनटू.
Okay. So because of agrarian distress, I take your point. There is agrarian distress, and women generally are willing to accept low paid.
राइट सर.
Yes. भाई उनके पास जो है ऑप्शन नहीं है ना, टू गो टू अ सिटी एंड गेट अ बेटर वेज, और गो टू अ नियर बाई टाउन एंड देन वर्क अ डेली वेज लेबर एट अ हायर रेट. They would essentially be confined into working in a nearby field, है ना? So therefore women are more willing to accept low paid irregular farm work. What else? Did COVID increase feminization of agriculture or decrease feminization of agriculture?
Sir, increase.
Yes. So COVID induced reverse migration. So there is also COVID induced reverse migration. इनमें से कुछ परिवार जो है जो थोड़ा बहुत ठीक हो गए थे, सेटल्ड हो गए थे, there was a system established, so migrant labor also took his family. But COVID broke this cycle. They had to come back, and then later when they are going, they have to re-establish it, and therefore women are left behind because of COVID. Okay, so these are some of the factors. You can always add more to it. Next point देखते हैं. What are the social arguments for gender equality? Vikash. Gauri.
Sir, I think patriarchal thing would be reduced.
Madhvi. लिखिए, स्लाइड लिखिए. There is no better instrument to fighting poverty than women empowerment. Given by Kofi Annan. Who is Kofi Annan? Yes.
Ex-UNSC president.
Yes, UNSC president. Then there is a very interesting argument made even by Swami Vivekanand. उनका भी argument लिख लीजिए. It is impossible to think about the welfare of the world unless the condition of women is improved. It is impossible to think, उन्हीं के कोट में कंटिन्यू है, it is impossible to for a bird to fly on only one wing. Then there are some moral arguments, moral and philosophical arguments. Can you tell me some moral and philosophical arguments? Anyone? देखिए, जब भी मॉरल और फिलोसॉफिकल आर्ग्यूमेंट आए तो गांधी जी को सोचिए, कांट को सोचिए, बेंथम को सोचिए, मिल को सोचिए, स्वामी विवेकानंद जी को सोचिए, वेदांत को सोचिए. You have to think from these lines and then you will be able to generate points. So the Vedantic concept of Sarva Khalu Idam Brahman, everyone is a Brahman. So would it be fair to discriminate? Yes.
No, sir.
Then all of you easily know about Kant's deontology. What is the categorical imperative given by Kant, which you can use at several places. Yes. Treat every individual as an end, never as a
means.
तो ये कई जगह काम कर जाएगा. जहां कुछ नहीं याद आ रहा हो, यहाँ पे कांट का कैटेगोरिकल इंपेरेटिव जो है चिपका दीजिए. There is the Christianity golden mean also, which Kant has reiterated: do unto others as you expect them to do unto you. So treat humanity, whether in your own person or of another, always as an end, never as a means. Now this point would suddenly start making sense if I talk about how society treats women. What is the purpose of item songs in movies? Are they of any creative value?
No, sir.
No. What is the purpose of Fair and Lovely ad done by women? Isn't there commodification, objectification through and through?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you are treating women as an end or as a means?
Means.
As a means. So आपको कई जगह ये वाली चीज जो है useful हो जाएगी. You will see many times, or in fact most of the times, women are treated as a means, not as an end. I am not criticizing the government. It is a good initiative, and this government has done most of the things right. But for a very long time, the government was opposed to giving permanent staff positions to women in the Indian Army.
Right, sir.
But जब हमको ऑपरेशन सिंदूर में जरूरत पड़ी तो हमने कर्नल सोफिया कुरैशी जी को और विंग कमांडर भूमिका जी को आगे कर दी. So that is why some people were rightly questioning the optics of it. Equality should be part and parcel of public policy, not simply for its use or usefulness. This government, or even the previous governments, they went to the Supreme Court. It was only after the Supreme Court said that no, you give them permanent staff commission, only then government changed the stand. Okay, so again, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. इसका आर्टिकल 1 ही क्या कहता है? What does Article 1 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights say? Yes. All men are born free, or all human beings are born free?
Human
All
being.
beings.
Do you know the story behind this? The initial draft, here it said all men are born free. Who changed it from all men to all human beings?
Hansa Mehta.
Yes, there is an Indian behind it, Hansa Mehta. She was part of the drafting committee of women led by Roosevelt, Mrs. Roosevelt. Now again, this is also a problem. I don't remember her name. That is again a problem. So they championed the cause that the initial draft said all men are born free. Hansa Mehta proposed that you should change to all human beings are born free. Then Mary Wollstonecraft, she is considered the premier or the propounder of feminist movement. one of the earliest proponent along with J.S. Mill. So Mary Wollstonecraft said, women like men are rational creatures. And therefore they should have equal rights. J.S. Mill, to, he goes on to say that if you want a successful marriage, give them equal rights. So Mary Wollstonecraft and J.S. Mill, they advocated for equal rights for women in education and voting rights. And this Western civilization is debating in 20th century. 20वीं सदी में डिबेट कर रहे हैं भारत जो है सेकेंड सेंचुरी बीसी से पहले, यानी 2200 साल पहले, इवन मोर देन दैट. Vedic civilization is perhaps between 1500 BC to 500 BC, if I am not wrong. I think between the Indus Valley and your coming of Buddhism, right? That is the Vedic period, if I'm not wrong. So women were in Sabha and Samiti, the decision-making bodies, almost 2500 years before. And so-called democracy is established by 12th century in UK and 18th century in US. और आप 20वीं सेंचुरी तक ये डिबेट कर रहे हैं कि इनको बराबर का एजुकेशन और वोटिंग राइट्स दिया जाना चाहिए या नहीं चाहिए. And then you teach and preach us about what is democracy, what is freedom of speech and expression, what is rights, etc. etc. है ना. अभी एक कनाडा में एक वो एमपी चिल्ला रही थी ना, प्रधानमंत्री को G7 में बुला दिया गया, तो there was some MP who was shouting, मतलब वो तो समझ आता है कि ये सब पैसा लेके बोलते हैं. She was shouting that this person or this government is accused of causing crime against Canadians. अब ये इतने शेमफुल लोग हैं that Canadian is a declared terrorist. There is enough evidence to tell that he was involved in hijacking of a plane. वो अगर वहां मारा गया तो कहते हैं कि हमने एक कैनेडियन को मार दिया just because they want the Sikh votes. Secondly, इनके जो पोस्टर बॉय थे, अब तो नहीं रहे, पोस्टर फट गया उनका, क्या नाम है उसका, वो ड्रामा वाला जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर बन गया था, हाँ, ट्रूडो. He only became prime minister because his father was a prime minister. So there are jokers everywhere in the world, not just in India. So this person, he keeps talking endlessly about human rights, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, etc. etc. जब वहां पर एक ट्रक्स वालों ने प्रोटेस्ट किया था तो इन्होंने अपने देश में आपातकाल घोषित कर दिया. He declared national emergency in Canada, the so-called epitome of free world. Canada declared national emergency because of a trucker protest. कुछ 10, 20, 50, 100 ट्रक वालों ने एक हाईवे पे प्रोटेस्ट कर दिया था. You can just compare it with the farmer protest or Shaheen Bagh protest and the government response in India. That is how a sensible democratic government responds to protests. ठीक है, ये सब कुछ बातें क्योंकि अभी हम मेंस मोड में है, so not everything is purely related to what you are doing. A lot of the things have to be also for your interview, for your other subjects, etc. जैसे एक बहुत फेमस लाइन है अजीत डोवल की कि नेशन बिल्डिंग जो है वो एक्सोथर्मिक प्रोसेस है. जैसे कभी आपसे पूछा जाए इंटरव्यू में कि भाई भारत में इतने प्रोटेस्ट हो रहे होते हैं, देयर आर सो मेनी प्रोटेस्ट हैपनिंग इन सो मेनी पार्ट्स ऑफ इंडिया, सो ही हैज अ वेरी गुड आंसर. And it is always better to answer from some these kind of great minds rather than fumbling in your own answer. He says nation building is an exothermic process. There is bound to be generation of heat. Secondly, public policy is not to make everyone happy. Public policy is simply a reconciliation of diverse interests. Okay, so These are some of the moral arguments. Now, having made this case, let us start the various spheres of discrimination. और पहला ही स्फीयर है पॉलिटिकल स्फीयर. According to IPU data, what is IPU? International Parliamentary Union. Yes. So according to IPU data, how many women member of parliament are there? Yes. Or percentage terms, please tell me.
Sir, 10% in Vidhan Sabha.
नहीं 10 तो बहुत कम हो गया.
And I think 14% in Parliament.
So it is 13.6%. There are 74. The number has fallen from 78. 74 women elected to 18th Lok Sabha. Which is 13.6%. It has fallen from 14%. So only 13.6% of the parliamentarians are women. Next. So एक डेटा तो हमको पता चल गया कि भाई पॉलिटिकल स्फीयर में there is discrimination in number of parliamentarians. What is the cause? How many number of women judges? Supreme Court women judges. Yes. Anybody?
Maybe one.
1, 2 है. Yes. Only 4% of all Supreme Court judges have been women. Currently, out of the sanctioned strength of 34, 2 are women. Has there been a woman Chief Justice of India?
No, sir.
No. It is slated that Justice B.V. Nagratna may become, she'll go on to become the first woman judge to become the Chief Justice of India. But 75 years of independence, no woman Chief Justice of India. So, two very important data to show that women are underrepresented. Question is why? What are the causes? Why women are underrepresented in the political sphere? Yes. First is patriarchy. अब ये वर्ड तो आप लोग बहुत बार देख लेते हैं, पेट्रियार्की, फेमिनाइजेशन, फेमिनिज्म. एग्जैक्टली इसका मीनिंग क्या है, एग्जैक्टली इसकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्या है, पेट्रियार्की का इवोल्यूशन क्या हुआ. सो अगर हम इस वर्ड का, नाउ आई एम जस्ट डाइग्रेसिंग फ्रॉम द टॉपिक एंड गिविंग यू समथिंग व्हिच यू विल यूज इन योर एसे. आर्की मींस रूल, पेट्री मींस male or generally father. So patriarchy literally means what? Rule of father. Now what is the evolution? How did society move towards patriarchy? Yes. Has societies from the beginning been discriminatory against women?
No, sir.
No.
Yes.
No. So how was there an evolution?
Women choose to stay back, taking care of the whole household.
हाँ, correct. This is how it began. So एक line लिख लीजिए. Just give a heading patriarchy. We'll discuss about its evolution, its definition. In the early stages of social organization, biological differences between men and women. Now at this juncture, they are hunters and gatherers. So biological differences between men and women necessitated certain division of labor between men and women.
Sir, please repeat from start.
In the early stages of social organization, yes, one more thing. The institute asked me to take this feedback. See, usually I have always taught EMP with this dictation model only. Okay. So they are of the view whether you would be better off getting this notes, printed notes at beforehand, and then I simply discuss it without you writing. What would be a better model? Like their idea is that if you are, if we can save time on me giving you the printed notes and I simply discuss the point, or this model of dictation is fine. Yes.
Sir, this is fine.
Because see, I am always votary of the fact that if you write after listening, some of the points you will remember because of the writing. Printed notes में से या तो फिर आप अपने हाथ से लिखिए तो आपको याद रहेगा, वरना ज्यादा समय के लिए आपको याद नहीं रहेगा. So printed notes are better for revision. आप जल्दी से उसमें रिवाइज कर सकते हैं, उसमें वैल्यू एडिशन ऐड कर सकते हैं, कुछ करंट का मिला तो आप ऐड कर लीजिए, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. दे आर हैंडी, बट are they reproducible? In my opinion, not so. Okay, for prelims it is still fine that you may have printed notes, क्योंकि आपको उसमें चीजें रिकॉल करनी है, लिखना नहीं है उसको. But for mains, again, it is up to you. Because problem for me is that I don't teach from one notes or from any prepared material. I teach it from memory. So for me it will be very difficult even if I get it in printed form. तो printed notes 3 पेज का होगा, क्लास में आपको 8-10 पेज का डिस्कशन हो जाएगा. तो then you will be in that dilemma कि आप अपने printed notes को ही लाल पीला कर रहे होंगे. But we can experiment in one of the classes. We can experiment. If it works, I am fine with their view also. Okay. Personally, I like to dictate, given the time. Many of you are saying yes, and some of you who are not agreeing are not expressing their view.
तो क्लास एंगेजिंग भी रहती है अगर हम लिखते रहते हैं, आप डिक्टेट भी करते रहते हैं क्लास.
हाँ, सही बात है, सही कह रहे हैं.
This is fine, sir.
This is fine. I'll tell you a joke. Okay. That is not my state, but I'll tell you a joke. So you know that Vajpayee ji ran a government of more than 24 parties as his coalition partner, na? The NDA government under Prime Minister Vajpayee, he had more than 24 parties as his coalition partner. तो उस समय कारगिल अटैक हो गया, तो नीतीश जी ने बोला, नीतीश जी वाज हिज पार्टनर, ही सेड कि हमको जो है पाकिस्तान का पानी बंद कर देना चाहिए. वाजपेयी जी ने कहा कि आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं. Then one of his partners from the south, AIADMK, they said that even Sri Lanka is helping Pakistan, हमको जो है तमिल इशू भी यहाँ पर रेस कर देना चाहिए. वाजपेयी जी ने कहा आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं. लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन मैडम गांधी, शी सेड दैट हमको एक डेलीगेशन भेजना चाहिए पाकिस्तान से बात करने के लिए. इन्होंने कहा कि हम बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं, आप मैडम आप भी सही कह रहे हैं. देन वन ऑफ हिज पार्टनर्स इन बीजेपी, ही सेड आउटराइटली न्यूक्लियर वॉर कर देते हैं, इनको खत्म ही कर देते हैं इस बार, लेट अस एंड दिस वॉर फॉर वंस. वाजपेयी जी सेड आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं. So public policy or class is reconciliation of. That is how he was successfully able to complete the term, right? मतलब ये मोदी जी और इस गवर्नमेंट के साथ one of the criticisms is they are not very flexible with their alliance partners. That is one of the successes of वाजपेयी जी. But ये भी एक सच है कि वाजपेयी जी की सरकार एक वोट से गिर गई थी because of one vote. So modern day problems require modern day solutions. Amit Shah. Huh? So anyways, right, in the early stages of social organization, biological differences between men and women necessitated certain division of labor between them. Full stop. Men went for hunting and women protected children at home. This system was based on mutual care and consent. This system was based on mutual care and consent. Paragraph change. However, with onset of revolutionary technology, sweeping changes took part in social organization.
However, the onset
of evolutionary technology, sweeping changes took part in social organization. But nothing changed in the division of labor. ये जो division of labor था ये continue होता रहा. भले ही टेक्नोलॉजी बदल रही है, now women need not stay at home. With evolution of various forms of power.
तो sweeping changes के बाद क्या था?
Sweeping changes in social organization, but the prevailing division of labor remained unchanged. But the prevailing division of labor remained unchanged. With evolution of various forms of power, man as head of family, clan, tribe, state, man as head of family, clan, tribe, state, acquired more and more power, while women continued to hold subordinate positions. Even in the civilized society, recognition as fair sex, ladies first, are mere tokenism. Women are given security, but not opportunity. women are given security but not opportunity. And continue to be systematically deprived of wealth, prestige, and power. So this is the evolution of patriarchy. Earlier, it started as a good system, a rational system where there was logical division of work. But जैसे जैसे technology change हुई, things improved, men continued to grow in power, women were kept in perpetual submission और dominance. इसी चीज को कहते हैं पेट्रियार्की. तो अब पेट्रियार्की की डेफिनेशन लिख लीजिए. ये तो आपका पेट्रियार्की का इवोल्यूशन समझ आ गया. पेट्रियार्की की डेफिनेशन लिख लीजिए, which you may quote in your society GS1 or in your essay. So just write, patriarchy literally means rule of the father. Originally, this term was used to describe a social system based on authority of male. As head of the household. Now it is applied to denote male domination in general, including its occurrence in labor market, as well as domination attached to different roles of men and women. Patriarchy serves as the foundation of gender inequality in society. यहीं पर एक और डेफिनेशन लिख लीजिए फेमिनिज्म का. फेमिनिज्म. Feminism refers to the social movement which aims at removal of discrimination against women in terms of rights of self-development and share in power. They inquire into the causes of suffering and deprivation of women and attempts to suggest measures for restoring their due share.
Attempt to suggest.
And attempt to suggest measures for restoring their due share in wealth, prestige, and power of society. So we were discussing why women are discriminated in the political sphere. उसके context में हम इधर चले गए थे. So पहला हो गया रीजन पेट्रियार्की. और रीजन बताइए. मतलब अच्छा पेट्रियार्की कैसे रीजन है, लिख लीजिए इस बात को. हाउ पेट्रियार्की इज अ रीजन फॉर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन अगेंस्ट विमेन इन पॉलिटिक्स. देखिए, विमेन फ्रॉम देयर चाइल्डहुड आर इनकरेज्ड to give priority to personal relations over professional goals. They are motivated to take up soft skills, teachers, doctors, nurses, which do not contribute much in politics as a profession. Which do not contribute much in politics as a profession, as opposed to boys or men who take up law, CA, chartered accountancy, etc. So ये तो हो गया पहला पॉइंट. How does patriarchy affect women in politics? Next, politics में खुद क्या समस्या है? One of the biggest concern in politics is
Criminalization.
yes, criminalization of politics. ADR का डेटा है. What is ADR? Yes.
Association for Democratic Reforms.
Yes, it is a pressure group for championing or advocating liberal rights, etc., or for championing for less corruption, championing more transparency in the political sphere. So just write according to ADR data, (2025) 45% of the MLAs face criminal charges. (45% means 1,861 MLAs. And 29% face serious or heinous criminal charges. Heinous criminal charge किसको कहते हैं? That offense is so severe that the punishment is greater than 7 years. यानी 1205 MLA ऐसे हैं जो कि हीनियस क्रिमिनल चार्ज, रेप, मर्डर, किडनैपिंग, इस तरह के चार्जेस हैं उनके अगेंस्ट. अगर हम स्टेट वाइज बात करें तो आंध्र प्रदेश 79% MLAs have criminal charges. Kerala, so called educated state, 69% of the MLAs have criminal charges. बिहार 66%. चलिए इनका तो समझ आता है, लेकिन Kerala and Telangana both are at 69%. एंड अगर हम मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट की बात करें तो देयर हैज बीन अ लीनियर इंक्रीज नंबर ऑफ मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट, criminal charges. Every Lok Sabha there is a linear increase in the criminal charges. और एक और यहाँ पे पॉइंट लिख लीजिए, अकॉर्डिंग टू नेशनल क्राइम रिकॉर्ड्स ब्यूरो NCRB डेटा, the conviction rate for crime against for crimes committed by MP and MLA is merely 6%. So there is only 6% conviction even when fast track courts बनाए हैं हमने for hearing cases against MP and MLA. Fast track court बनाए. There is also a special judgment called Lily Thomas judgment. What is Lily Thomas case? Yes.
Sir, you will be barred from contesting election if you're
Yes.
convicted of a crime.
Any legislator who is convicted for an offense whose sentence is greater than
2 years.
2 years is immediately क्या हो जाएगा? Will they complete their term or immediately get disqualified?
Sir, disqualified.
Immediately disqualified, and also a bar on contesting for 6 years. So therefore criminalization of politics is again one important detriment for women joining politics. Next point, violence against women. Violence against women, especially in family, society, and at work. You see, so far Me Too movement has not come out in politics. आया भी तो in a very small scale. We cannot imagine the degree of Me Too campaign thing that may come out in politics. Even that person, there was a minister that time, MJ Akbar. He was convicted in the Me Too movement, but I think he made a silent backdoor entry in Operation Sindoor, right? He was part of the delegation who went for keeping India's point of view in the world, right? Mr. MJ Akbar. So he was convicted in the Me Too campaign. So Me Too, while it has come in many other spheres, in politics, it is very, very subdued. That tells you that that is the level of violence faced in politics. Then lack of intra-party democracy. See, political parties, what is their formula? Candidates को choose करने के लिए उनका most important criteria क्या है? Yes.
Winning factor.
Yes, winnability. So will women be an automatic choice when politics is driven by muscle and money? Yes or no?
No, sir.
No. When winnability is based on this factor, obviously women will not be the choice. But we have seen that this has been defied. Defied where? In Odisha. Biju Janata Dal. This it defied. It gave enough number of seats to women, and 6 out of the 10 member of parliaments were women. So this winnability criteria, where the political parties are themselves excluding women from key decision making, that is again one of the reasons why women are not in politics. So लिख लीजिए इस बात को. Political parties themselves exclude women from key decision making positions. Then nature of women movements. This is also one of the factors for less number of women in politics. Nature of women movements. देखिए, women have mobilized against social evils, environmental injustice. For example, Chipko. For example, social evils like alcohol in Bihar. But rarely has a women movement come for political equality as the core concern. And last point, degradation of values in politics. Politics has moved from Lokniti to Rajniti. The politics of people to the politics of power. From Lokniti to Rajniti. Now, what is the benefit if more and more women come into politics? What is the benefit? So can I say, first of all, that it will bring the concept of citizenship to its logical conclusion? If equal number of women participate in politics and at key decision making, will the concept of citizenship come as a full circle? Yes.
Yes, sir.
जो आप इक्वालिटी की बात करते हैं, जो आप रिपब्लिक की बात करते हैं, आज भारत एक रियल सेंस में रिपब्लिक है. Why? Because we have an elected president, and that elected president happens to be a woman. So जो हम रिपब्लिक की डेफिनेशन देखते थे पॉलिटी में, कि रिपब्लिक मीन्स दैट द हाईएस्ट ऑफिस इज इक्वल टू एनी सेक्शन ऑफ द सिटीजन. ये बात यहाँ पर साबित हो रही है ना सही में, इफ इट इज इवन ओपन टू विमेन. यस. So the concept of republic, the concept of citizenship is being fulfilled. याद कीजिए रिपब्लिक का पॉलिटी में क्या मीनिंग देखते थे, that even the high, first of all, the highest office is elected, it is not hereditary. Second, it is open to any section of citizen. So if women are into politics, it will bring the concept of citizenship to its logical conclusion. लिख लीजिए इस बात को. It will bring the concept of citizenship to its logical conclusion with equal participation of women. Next. Gender sensitization, comma, gender injustice will be central to any public policy.
Gender sensitization.
Gender injustice will be central to any public policy. Next, it will lead to a more egalitarian society. Because of ethics of care.
So because of
Ethics of care into politics. फिर हमने गांधी जी का व्यू देखा है. Women are the instrument of social change. If non-violence is the way of the world, our future lies with the women. Now, in this context, women reservation in legislature. Which constitutional amendment?
Hundred and six.
106th constitutional amendment. So now let us evaluate 106th constitutional amendment. What is the benefit? What is the issue? What are the challenges? लिख लीजिए, एक लाइन लिखिए. It reserves 1/3 or 33% of the seats in Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies including those reserved for SCs and STs. Is this for indefinitely or for a fixed period?
So 15 years.
Yes. The reservation will be in effect for 15 years from its commencement. Sorry, 15 years. Then, when will the reservation be applied or starting from? After a new delimitation exercise done after the next census. सेंसस पे एक सवाल जो है इस साल आना तय है. A question will be asked on census because government has notified 2027 for the census, and caste census has become an important debating thing. So we'll definitely cover census, caste census, census history, what is the use of census as an instrument, why it is done, what are the organizations, etc. everything. Okay, so जब नया सेंसस आ जाएगा उसके बाद एक डिलिमिटेशन एक्सरसाइज करेंगे and then this will become applicable. And therefore, what are the articles that have been changed? 330A, 332A and 334A. This talks about 330 talks about reservation. 330 से 334 तक in fact there is reservation in legislature. So 330A, 332A and 334A has been added in this constitutional amendment. Okay, now let us understand the arguments in support and arguments against. So arguments in support तो वही सारे पॉइंट है जो हमने ऊपर लिखे हैं, mentioned above. That is, it would bring citizenship to its logical conclusion. Second, ethics of care in politics. Third, gender justice as the core concern of politics. Fourth, और क्या है, गांधी जी का जो व्यू था, If non-violence is the way, our future lies with women. Women are the agents or instruments of social change, etc. What are the arguments against? अच्छा, एक दो और arguments है. Some more arguments. So a research was done on reservation given in panchayats, and that research showed that there was definitely a positive impact. Okay, लिखिए, according to a research done, gram panchayat with elected women leaders invested more in public goods closely linked to women's concerns and resulted in a subsequent increase in percentage of female local leaders. So there is a virtuous cycle created. अगर प्रधान जी जो है मैडम बन गई तो what is the name of Banrakas's wife?
Sir, whose wife?
There is a character no opposite this who also wants to contest in the web series Panchayat. जो बनराकस, I don't remember his name, जिसको वो बनराकस कहते हैं. What is his name? भूषण.
क्रांति देवी नाम था उनका.
हाँ, क्रांति. So when Pradhan ji's wife, what is her name? Yes.
Sir, Manju Devi.
Manju Devi, yes. Manju Devi, when she starts to lead, Kranti Devi also comes. And for whatever it's worth their fight, at least more number of women are coming into politics. वहीं आप एमएलए देखेंगे तो वो घोड़ा खरीद रहे हैं, घोड़े के लिए लड़ाई कर रहे हैं. Women are talking about creating Akhand Kirtan, a village gathering, CCTVs, etc. So it creates a virtuous cycle. Then हमारा कमिटमेंट भी है. इंडिया इज अ सिग्नेटरी टू यूएन सीडाओ, यूनाइटेड नेशंस कन्वेंशन on elimination of all forms of discrimination against women. So India is a signatory. So we are also fulfilling our international obligation of eliminating all forms of discrimination against women. This is also one of the goals of SDG. So goal 5 and goal 10 both talk about eliminating inequality. Even the success of SHG movement, जो self help group movement है, which had a positive impact of women mobilization against domestic abuse. So this is also an indicator that when women will be coming into politics, such kind of movements, they will also be getting the necessary support. as is the case in Ajivika in Bihar or in Kerala. What is the name of the movement in Kerala, which is women led for poverty reduction? Yes.
Sir, Kudumbashree.
Kudumbashree. So these are some of the arguments in support of women reservation. 7-8 point hai, easy to remember. Now, what are the arguments against? That is more difficult. What are the arguments against? Yes. There is fear that it will perpetuate the proxy culture, which you have seen in that web series, that is similar concept of Sarpanch Pati. So what, before giving them enough political training, before giving them enough empowerment in their homes and society, if we give them political empowerment, it will only perpetuate proxy culture. So लिख लीजिए एक लाइन इसमें, it may perpetuate proxy culture or a similar concept of Sarpanch Pati. When elected women will not have real power, and then second point, generally this is the point with respect to reservation. Reservation is generally not equated with merit. So if women are getting elected on a reserved seat, they would not actually be considered as real political head by a section of the electors. Okay, so इस point को लिख लीजिए. It would perpetuate the unequal status of women. Since they would not be perceived to be competing on merit, then there is also fear that this reservation benefit, it will accrue to the dominant or elitist group and no real change to lower strata women. There is fear that reservation benefit will be accruing to a dominant or elitist group and no real change will be brought to the lower strata women. Any other point you can think of? Yes, Shavya? Why you should be in politics? Oh, why you should not be in politics?
Because now it has become Rajniti instead of Lokniti.
You will make it Lokniti instead of Rajniti.
Yes, sir.
But at the people level, that is fine. Maybe at the foreign policy level, you can make that case that it should be Rajniti, not Lokniti. At the level of people, that is a fine point. Is this addressing the real concern as to why women are not in the political sphere? Is it not diverting attention from the actual issues of electoral reform, like criminalization of politics, inner party democracy, dynastic politics, etc.?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So लिख लीजिए. It diverts attention from the larger issues of electoral reform, such as criminalization of politics, inner party democracy, okay? So these are some of the points in favor, some of the points in against women reservation bill. Oh, sorry, women reservation. Now let us move to the next economic sphere, next sphere of discrimination. एक sphere हमने अभी तक complete किया है thoroughly, that is political sphere. एक sphere हो गया, अब अगले sphere में आते हैं economic sphere. The next sphere of discrimination against women is economic sphere. पहले तो यहाँ पर डेटा क्या क्या है? एक डेटा हमने देख लिया, यूएन का रिपोर्ट. Women are 50% of population, 66% of total work hours. पैसा कितना मिलता है इनको? 1/10 of income and 1/100 of property. Then, according to PLFS, Periodic Labor Force Report 2022-23, the female labor force participation rate decreased लेट अस नॉट कोट, क्योंकि पीएलएफएस को हटा दीजिए. पीएलएफएस जो है एक्चुअली में कह रहा है कि इंक्रीज हो चुका है, इसको हम पॉजिटिव साइड में लिखेंगे. पीएलएफएस तो कह रहा है कि भाई इट हैज इंक्रीज्ड. पीआईबी का डेटा कहता है कि 23.3% इन 2017-18. इट हैज इंक्रीज टू 37% in 2022-23. So according to the PLFS data, actually women participation has increased, but यहाँ तक आने में it decreased from 2004, where it was at 46%, it fell to 23%. 2004 में 46% से 34% से 23-24% पे गिर गया था. So this period you can mention between 2004 to 2017-18, it fell from a high of 46% to 23%. Now it has recovered. So you can mention this part in positive. इसको पॉजिटिव में लिख दीजिए, इसको नेगेटिव वाले में लिख दीजिएगा. बोथ आर पीएलएफएस रिपोर्ट from 2004 to 2017-18. There was a constant major decline in female labor force participation rate. Now there has been an increase. So my question is, what is the cause for low female labor force participation rate? Why less number of women are part of the workforce? Yes. Because why less number of women are in your company?
Sir, recently company has brought a rule also of 33% women for workforce.
Okay.
But sir कम क्यों है?
सो पहला रीजन तो सेम ही होगा यार, पेट्रियार्की।
Yes.
हर किसी का रीजन पेट्रियार्की। और सोसाइटल कंस्ट्रेंट्स, एक पॉइंट लिख लीजिए, पेट्रियार्की एक्सटेंड्स इन डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर फ्रॉम फैमिली टू लेबर मार्केट। सो पेट्रियार्की जो है फैमिली से एक्सटेंड होके लेबर मार्केट में भी चला गया। सेकंड, नेशनल फैमिली हेल्थ सर्वे डेटा सेज मैरिज बिगेस्ट बैरियर और ग्लास सीलिंग फॉर विमेन। मैरिज एंड चाइल्ड बियरिंग लिख लीजिए। Then sometimes even the unintended government policies, the cost of compliance increases for women candidate. कैसे? There is government increase the maternity benefit from 12 weeks to
24 weeks.
24 weeks. So for private sector working on thin margins, it increased the cost of compliance in hiring a women candidate. Then sexual harassment at workplace. This is again a definite reason for why there are less number of women in the workforce. %70 of the women do not report for fear of losing their jobs. Then improper system of economic accounting. ये बताइए, are mothers considered working or dependent? Mothers, housewives, what is their economic categorization? Are they economic agents or considered as economic dependents?
Economic dependence.
Economic dependents. But are they providing very essential services which in the West there is a huge price to pay? Yes. For nanny, house help, etc. In US, in West, etc. Is there bare like minimum wage recommendations, etc.? So जो UN का system of national accounts है, it considers the household work done by women as unpaid work, and therefore they are wrongly classified as economic dependents. But the work that they are doing, does that require a degree of skill? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. They are doing at least 4 or 5 jobs. अगर इनको पैसा मिलने लग जाए तो आपकी सारी सैलरी तो घर ही में चली जाएगी. So लिख लीजिए, according to system of national accounts of United Nations, household work is categorized as unpaid work. And they are labeled as economic dependents. Then there is a U-shaped hypothesis given by economic survey. U-shaped hypothesis. U-shaped क्या है? आपकी इनकम जो है घट रही है, or rather I should say your income is rising. When your income starts to rise, women leave workforce to complete studies or other commitments. So लिख लीजिए, women exit the workforce to attain education or fulfill domestic responsibilities with rise in per capita income. Finally, distress migration. Distress migration is also a factor leading to feminization of agriculture, or more number of women are in informal sector. So this is the second sphere, that is the economic sphere, in which there is discrimination against women. Let us come to the third sphere, cultural sphere. So in the cultural sphere, what are the discriminations against women? Jokes, abuses, they are designed towards, do they ridicule or sexualize women? Yes. Yes or no? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
How many of you are sleeping? Yes. How
No,
many
sir.
of you? All are sleeping.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
So why are you quiet? Extremely quiet, in fact. Extremely quiet happens because of two reasons. A, everything is new, you are trying to absorb everything, everything is useful. B, everything is useless. It can be any of the two extremes in why usually people are quiet. Plus, right now I don't have the capacity to engage with the video on and those things on, etc., because I have to teach. So I hope you people are following, right? It's not getting boring.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what was the point we were discussing? Yes, most of the jokes ridicule or sexualize women. There is commodification of women in advertisement, entertainment industry. There is generally moral policing. In fact, ये थोड़ा सा एक point है, समझिए. Aren't women expected to carry the burden of morality more than men? Yes.
Yes.
If you see in society, if a woman is seen drinking and a boy is seen drinking, are they looked with equal contempt? If you accept drinking is wrong, do we look at a woman drinking and smoking and a man drinking and smoking in equal contempt?
No, sir.
नहीं. मेन को आप मैचो मानेंगे, आप हनी सिंह मानेंगे, बादशाह मानेंगे. Women you will consider characterless if she is doing the same thing. Why? Because there is culture of discrimination. You cannot treat them as equal in drinking and smoking, right? So societies have definitely put extreme burden of morality on women, right? So please write moral policing over women's dress codes. Choices made in personal and professional life. What can they wear? What can they eat? Who they can go out with? So on and so forth. Fourth, discrimination in religion or personal laws. So many of the religions, the last rites can only be performed by
Men.
yes, by male members. There are various discriminatory personal law practices like nikah halala, triple talaq, honor killing, gender mutilation, as per Muslim personal law. Female's right is only one half of the share of male. So मान लीजिए 100% का बंटवारा होना है और दो भाई हैं, 2 brothers and 1 sister. So it will not be 33%, 33%, 33%. जितना भाइयों को मिलेगा एक भाई को, उसका 1/2 ही इनको मिलेगा. So she will be considered not 1 but 1/2. Her half share will be going to these people. Or according to Christian personal law, a daughter has no right over her paternal property. Even the Hindu Succession Act, only after Supreme Court judgment, daughters got right over her paternal property. So these are some of the discriminations in the cultural sphere, economic sphere, political sphere. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So let us revisit the topic because it's such a big topic. तो हमने क्या क्या कर लिया है देखते हैं. We have done the definition of sex and gender. We have done the spheres of discrimination, that is political, economic, social, and cultural. We have done the arguments to support gender equality. We have done the arguments in support of gender discrimination. We have done 108th constitutional amendment. Now let us do some government schemes and policies, role of women, women organizations, success stories. सो गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स एंड पॉलिसीज, कुछ तो आपको उस डॉक्यूमेंट में था जो कल मैंने दिखाया था. ओके, इट हैज डेफिनेटली अ नंबर ऑफ पॉइंट्स. लेट अस डिस्कस सम ऑफ देम. सो निर्भया फंड, या लिख लीजिए स्कीम्स फॉर विमेन इन डिस्ट्रेस, या सपोर्ट, गवर्नमेंट सपोर्ट फॉर विमेन इन डिस्ट्रेस. What are the various schemes for support for women in distress? There is Nirbhaya Fund. What is the use of the fund? To increase, to invest in making public spaces safe for women or public safety. और बताइए. बताइए भाई. उज्ज्वला योजना, दिस इज फॉर, लिख लीजिए, अ कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव स्कीम फॉर प्रिवेंशन ऑफ ट्रैफिकिंग, rescue and relief, rescue and rehabilitation of victims of trafficking and sexual exploitation. There is Swadhar Grih. So these are homes for relief and rehabilitation of women who are survivors of rape, assault, etc. उनके लिए home for relief and rehabilitation. Then is there a universal helpline number? Yes. What is the universal helpline number? 1090. 90. There is also so it is 24/7, just right. Yeah, I think this is fine. Then there is She Box. What is She Box? Yes. Online complaint management system for what purpose? Yes.
Sexual harassment.
Yes, against sexual harassment at workplace. Then second, schemes for women empowerment. So there is Mahila Shakti Kendra. This is converge all government schemes, including national, district, block, nutrition, education, literacy, etc. at one place. So this is the one-stop center scheme. Then Mahila Kisan सशक्तिकरण परियोजना. सशक्तिकरण means empowerment. सशक्तिकरण परियोजना. सो लिख लीजिए इसके अंदर एक लाइन, empower women in agriculture by making systematic investments to enhance their participation and productivity in agriculture. To enhance their participation and productivity in agriculture. Next, बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ. So this scheme is to prevent female infanticide, for enforcement of PCPNDT Act, that is preconceptual prenatal determination test. So ban on sex selective abortion. In fact, there is ban on determination of sex of the fetus. Then ensuring education of the girl child. Then for economic betterment of women, इकोनॉमिक एम्पावरमेंट के लिए भी बहुत सारे चीजें की है सरकार ने. देयर इज स्टैंड अप इंडिया. देयर इज स्टेप. स्टेप के अंदर लिख लीजिए, सपोर्ट टू ट्रेनिंग एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट प्रोग्राम फॉर वुमेन. सपोर्ट टू ट्रेनिंग एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट प्रोग्राम for women. There is Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana also. There is one Pahel scheme which is hugely liberating women from smokeless chulhas, liberation of women from smokeless chulhas. Provision of LPG. और कुछ स्कीम्स आप भी बताइए. डिफरेंट स्टेट्स हैव डिफरेंट स्कीम्स. द एसएचजी मूवमेंट. एसएचजी टॉपिक में हम देखेंगे आजीविका मूवमेंट ऑफ बिहार, द कुडुमश्री मूवमेंट ऑफ केरला, देन और कोई स्कीम बताइए. एनी स्टेट स्पेसिफिक स्कीम. So let us see now some of the points from the notes. I think most we have covered. जो organizations हैं, there is Seva, self-employed for women's association, Snehale, support for women in sex work, Breakthrough India, media-driven justice campaign, Azad Foundation. ये याद कर लीजिएगा ये नाम, सेवा, आजाद, ब्रेकथ्रू इंडिया. Then global practices में UN Women is for empowerment principle. There is a 7-point agenda for UN Women. रवांडा में एक बहुत अच्छी बात क्या है, highest percentage of women in parliament. More than 60% of the member of parliament in Rwanda are women. Okay. Then there is a campaign, He for She campaign of women. Global men's participation in women's right. Okay. Then Grameen Bank of Bangladesh, that is also an important initiative. फिर ये एंशियंट मिडिएवल और मॉडर्न का हमने एग्जांपल देख लिया था, प्लस सम इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोमिनेंट लीडर्स एग्जांपल्स आल्सो वी हैड सीन. सो जस्ट दिस women organizations, that part you can add in your notes. Okay. Success stories we will be doing in next class. Is already 10:10. एक सवाल लिख लेते हैं हम. Okay, so just substantiate with these women organizations in your notes. Okay. एक एक दो लाइन आप चाहें तो you can write. आपके नोट्स में नेशनल कमीशन ऑन विमेन एनसीडब्ल्यू वगैरह के बारे में भी थोड़ा थोड़ा दिया हुआ है, सो यू कैन डेफिनेटली सी दैट आल्सो. सो जस्ट राइट वन क्वेश्चन. अच्छा, एक और टॉपिक रह गया है विच वी विल डू इन नेक्स्ट क्लास. इट विल टेक हाफ एन आवर मोर. दैट इज जिस जेंडर इक्वालिटी, जेंडर इक्विटी एंड विमेन एम्पावरमेंट और जेंडर एम्पावरमेंट, इनके बीच में क्या डिफरेंस है, व्हाट आर द इश्यूज विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू प्रोग्राम्स. So just write this question, 2019 question. What are the continued challenges for women in India against time and space? ये सवाल लिखिए. What are the continued challenges for women in India against time and space? 250 words. 10:11 हो रहा है. I am giving you 10 minutes exactly. So 10:22. Please mail your answers. Start writing. अच्छा, दोज ऑफ यू हु आर लिसनिंग, क्योंकि ये पॉपुलेशन का ऊपर क्वेश्चन दिया है, इस साल पॉपुलेशन पे उल्टा क्वेश्चन आएगा. इंस्टेड ऑफ पॉपुलेशन कंट्रोल देयर विल बी अ पॉपुलेशन कोलैप्स और समथिंग रिलेटेड टू टोटल फर्टिलिटी रेट फॉलिंग. इस पे सवाल आएगा, which is what happened in China where they discontinued their one child policy. इंडिया का भी एक अभी रिपोर्ट आई थी that India's total fertility rate has fallen below the 2.1. So that is going to be a concern going forward. So इस बार जो population and associated issues का question है, it will not be for controlling population, but on whether India needs to revisit its population policy in context of China changing from one China policy, or India's total fertility rate falling below the replacement rate of 2.1. तो because population है तो मुझसे ये याद आ गया. So definitely we'll be looking forward to this kind of question. इनफैक्ट पॉपुलेशन एंड एसोसिएटेड इश्यूज का जो टेस्ट है उसमें आपको ये सवाल दिया है हमने, तो आई थिंक इट इज योर नेक्स्ट टेस्ट इसके बाद वाला. टेस्ट के लिए पढ़ना चालू कर दिया. Yes, Abhishek.
Yes, sir, started.
Yes, written the answer. Did you write the answer?
Writing, sir.
Time is over. बहुत सिंपल सवाल है ये तो. I think in yesterday's discussion, I discussed what are the issues women face across time and space. All you had to do is put up a good introduction, write the challenges, write the spheres of discrimination, write the initiatives by the government, role of organizations, conclusion. Don't make the question more complex than what it should be. Yes, anybody submitted?
Yes, sir, doing.
10 seconds. 5 seconds.
So please 10 more seconds.
Already 2 minutes. 10:12 पे भी मान लीजिए आपने लिखना चालू किया तो 13 मिनट थोड़ी हमारे पास लिखने के लिए. अगर 13 मिनट का मतलब ये है 13 into 10 is 130 minutes. That means 2 hours 10 minutes you have written 10 questions. तो यहीं पर हम मेंस से बाहर हो गए. और ये तो तब जब ये ऐसा क्वेश्चन है कि बस कुछ नहीं करना है, एक कोट लिखना है. चैलेंज अक्रॉस टाइम, चैलेंज अक्रॉस स्पेस, द स्फीयर्स ऑफ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, government policies and support, women organizations, conclusion.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, one person has sent. Baki, yes. Shavya, Kanchan, Amita, Gauri.
Same, sir.
Sent.
Sending, sir.
Sending. Vikas, Rituraj, Abhishek, Rishabh. Okay, Shavya and Madhvi has sent. Shavya sent first, so priority in checking. Simon D. Bua once quoted, "One is not born a woman, but becomes one or made one." ठीक है. The above quote rightly points out the continued hidden challenges for women in India across time and space, such as challenges across time. Since womb, historically, even after post-depression, women have been subjected to female ferticide. ऐसा लिखना है हमको. The quote is, India has moved from female infanticide before independence to female feticide post-independence. Okay, girl child. Girl child factor के बजाय unwanted girl child. The term given by economic surveys, unwanted girl child or sun meta preference. Sun meta preference की वजह से there are a lot of unwanted girl childs. This is not required. Post marriage, ये across time था ना, marriage तो space हो गया ना. So there will be then missing women चाइल्ड से विमेन आएंगे ना पहले, वेयर देर इज लो फीमेल labor force participation rate. Yes.
Same as that.
Then post marriage dowry death limited to role of housewife, discrimination from in-laws. ये सब के बजाय जो हमने कीवर्ड सीखे हैं वो लिखिए ना. So dowry related deaths, then domestic violence, then यहाँ पर लिखिए national family health survey data says that marriage and childbearing biggest career breaks. Like write a answer which is substantiated है ना by such kind of things. Challenges across space. सबसे पहले तो फैमिली से चालू कीजिए ना. फैमिली इज द फर्स्ट स्पेस, राइट, वेयर यू विल टॉक अबाउट पेट्रियार्की, राइट, वेयर देयर इज जेंडर असाइन्ड रोल्स एंड व्हाट इज पेट्रियार्की? Gender assigned roles and responsibilities. Then in the political space, you talk about systemic exclusion of women from key decision makings. Okay. Cultural space, discrimination based on religious laws. Okay. Objectification. Economic space, household work not considered as unpaid labor. You also talk about sexual harassment at workplace. Then discriminatory practices, mention nikah halala, mention gender mutilation. Then mention about the land and property rights data, UN report. क्योंकि हमको इनसे सब्सटेंशिएट करना है. OECD क्या कह रहा है, UN क्या कह रहा है, ILO क्या कह रहा है, FAO क्या कह रहा है. There is feminization of agriculture. Okay. Then where is the initiatives for reform? One, for women in distress. What are the various reforms? अभी हमने देखा. Try to recall everybody. Yes. There is Ujjwala Yojana. There is Universal.
Nirbhaya Fund.
Yes, Nirbhaya Fund. There is Universal Helpline Number. There is Swadhar Grih. Then for women empowerment, there is Stand Up India. What else?
Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana.
Yes, Sukanya Samriddhi, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. और बताइए empowerment के लिए. There is 33% reservation for women in legislature. नीचे लिख दीजिए 106th constitutional amendment. Then international best practices. You talk about Rwanda. 60% of legislators are women. Then he for she campaign of UN. Then women NGOs and SHG movement. सुकन्या समृद्धि, सॉरी, कुटुम्बश्री और आजीविका. और फिर कंक्लूजन में गांधी जी का लिख दीजिए. गांधी जी लिख दीजिए या एनी ऑफ द कंक्लूजन्स दैट वी हैव डिस्कस्ड इन द क्लास. ओके, सो हैव वी रिटन एनीथिंग फैंसी? Yes.
Yes.
No. So answer will always be basic and learn to write what you know instead of creating points. Just write what you know. उन पॉइंट्स को हमको रिकॉल करना है जो हमने पढ़ा है अपने नोट्स में. उसके लिए जो अभी नोट्स हैं उसको बार बार रिवाइज कीजिए. वी हैव डन एनफ. जस्ट सी आवर नोट्स. We started out with this one diagram which will be helpful for you to write any answer. What is sex versus gender? What are the spheres of discrimination? Political, economic, social, and cultural. Argument to support gender equality. Argument in support of gender discrimination. Government schemes and policies. Role of women and women organization. Success. ये part अभी हम करेंगे. There is a small 30-minute lecture left on women, especially women, impact of globalization on women, women of lower strata. That part of thing, that is sub-categorization of women or women as a block, that topic is remaining. Other than that, there is one topic from which you can always write any answer on women, as well as an essay. Okay. So, answer कहाँ गया? Answer disappeared. So still fine, given that you have written it in the given time period, but answer is slightly incomplete. I'm just writing so that you can recall later when you look at your copy.
Yes, sir.
It got erased for some reason. Rwanda, 60% women legislators. और क्या लिखा था हमने?
He for she campaign.
UN He for She campaign. Yes. What else? Various women-related organizations, NGOs, SHG movement, Ajivika, Kudumshri. And then write a conclusion. Conclusion में जैसे for example Hillary Clinton कहती हैं rights of women is the unfinished business of 21st century. This is a quote by Hillary Clinton, wife of Bill Clinton, accused of sexual harassment at workplace. But then again, she should not be known for the faults of her husband. We will be doing the same mistake as is envisaged while teaching this topic. So I'm not sending the answer, Shavya. I'll just send it at the end. Again, it disappeared or what? No, now it's there. I'll check just one more answer to see if there is a better point. India's rank in, what is this?
सर मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा था उस टाइम.
अच्छा, ग्लोबल जेंडर गैप रिपोर्ट. तो फिर अगर मान लीजिए याद नहीं आ रहा तो कोई और डेटा लिखिए.
सर मैं सोच रही थी कि मैं लिख दूंगी बट वो मुझसे मिस हो गया लास्ट में.
अच्छा, तो आप अगर कुछ ऐसा लिखना है तो एनसीआरबी का डेटा है, नेशनल फैमिली हेल्थ सर्वे का डेटा है, यूएन सीडाउ का डेटा है. देयर आर मेनी डेटास मेंशन्ड इन द नोट्स. ओईसीडी का डेटा है, आईएमएफ का डेटा है. ये सारा नोट्स में दिया है. कोई एक लिखते, जो नहीं लिखा था वो आपने.
सर याद ही नहीं आ रहा था.
ठीक है. Continued challenges for women against time, infanticide and feticide as a child, gender discrimination while ठीक है. So you talk about that the National Family Health Survey says that 48% of the girl childs are. Substantiate कीजिए ना इस बात को. Instead of writing a generic point, substantiate it.
Okay, sir.
Child के बाद then across time she will become woman, missing woman. यहाँ पर substantiate कीजिए IMF का डेटा. 277 million people when they will be women when they are out of the workforce, it is costing 27% to India's GDP. Unpaid work, widowhood, ठीक है. Continued challenges. यहाँ पर inauspicious के बजाय ये लिखिए that last rites performed by male child or male sons, etc. No rights in ancestral property. ठीक है. Continued challenges against space, home, gender roles. ठीक है. यहाँ पर एक लाइन में लिखिए patriarchy, gender assigned roles and responsibilities. इतना बड़ा लिखने में आपका टाइम भी गया और कई सारी चीजें आप इसलिए लिख नहीं पाए. और यहाँ पर आप लिखे गर्ल्स आर इनकरेज्ड टू गिव प्रायोरिटी टू पर्सनल रिलेशंस ओवर प्रोफेशनल गोल्स. ठीक है. सोसाइटी में गई गैंग रेप वगैरह. ठीक है. वर्क प्लेस सेक्शुअल हैरेसमेंट एट वर्क प्लेस, जेंडर पे गैप, ग्लास सीलिंग, पिंक कॉलराइजेशन, गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स. बस वर्क प्लेस के बाद ये फिर देन चर्च और प्लेस ऑफ वर्शिप. So there is discrimination, ban on entry, discriminatory practices such as gender mutilation, triple talaq, discriminatory inheritance and succession laws because of personal loss, government scheme for ठीक है women in distress, women in empowerment, political empowerment, as Gandhi said, women are the instrument. बाकी सब ठीक है. Okay, so we'll pause here. In next class we'll continue with we'll complete this theme and then move to the next important theme. Again, that theme will be having significance over across GS subjects. Okay, and once again I'll repeat, please start writing or start preparing for your tests. It is a very fine designed program, Mains Elite, especially if you want an order, structure, answer writing, etc. in an organized manner. I think most of you are there except 3-4, but उनके लिए भी मैं कहूँगा कि आपके लिए it's a good deal in the sense that आपको जो एक स्ट्रक्चर चाहिए, थोड़ा सा आपको डिस्कम्फर्ट होगा कि एक वीक में आपको बहुत सारी चीजें पढ़ने को हो रही हैं, बट लेट मी टेल यू व्हाट इज डन इन दिस अर्जेंसी इज द राइट थिंग टू डू. अगर आप अगले 2 महीने में पूरा मेंस एक बार रिवाइज करके लिख लेते हैं, स्पेशली फॉर दोज हु आर राइटिंग मेंस नेक्स्ट ईयर, फॉर देम इट इज गोइंग टू बी अ मेजर रैंक बूस्टर. और जो लोग इस बार मेंस लिख रहे हैं उनके लिए तो वो है ही है, उनके पास तो कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं है, and they are writing also. I would definitely say that those who are writing next year, it will be boosting your rank in a very, very significant way. You will thank us later next year. Okay, so that is all. Thank you for your time and patience, especially this late. God bless.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.